Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight to the left foot. Good Tai Chi posture. Kick your right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet, choose the right side, cross and sit on that side, straight up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cross and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, practicing our golden cockerel. Good Tai Chi posture, dropping the shoulders, tucking the butt, hollowing out the chest, chin slightly down, tongue on your palate, head straight up. Thinking good thoughts. Here we go. Shift weight, center, push down, pull up. Last set. Kicking out. 50-50, shift weight to the left, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out in line. Left hand, left foot up, and out. Last set. Okay, practicing our feet stance. Root down on the back or the right foot so that energy is stored there. T stance, hands at your waist. Out and to the side, L stance. Turn the hips and waist. Adjust the back foot, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T stance, L stance out into the side, turn the hips and waist, adjust the back foot, knees not beyond your toe, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T stance, insubstantial, left foot comes out on an L, turn the hips and waist, distribute the energy, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T stance, out and to the side, L stance, then turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, right hand on the top, left hand on the bottom, holding our ball. Here we go. T stance, L stance, bottom hand advances to part the wild horse's mane. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, center with the ball for better balance on a T, out on an L, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T stance, center with a ball, L stance out into the side, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T stance, centered with a ball, L stance, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, twist step. We're going to change the movement. Right hand is high, left hand is to your shoulder. We're on a T stance. We're going to do 3 things together. ear and hand and heel. Here we go to brush our knee. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder on a T, all together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, right hand higher, left hand to your shoulder on a T stance, all together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder, glancing at the back hand, all together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, one more good set. Right hand higher, left hand to your shoulder, all together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, just the back foot, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder, all together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist. There you have it. Sit back, sit down, hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to ward off our opponent. Here we go. T stance, L stance. Bottom hand, left hand wards off or pushes the opponent away. Give me my space. Turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands, bring down the bird's tail. Sit back. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Contact at the wrist, turn the hips and waist, center of the body, separate the energy, separate the hands, roll back, sit down, spiral up, and then lunge forward. Twist step, T stance, holding your ball. Right foot ready to go, right hand on the bottom to ward off. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances to push your opponent away. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands to grasp the bird's tail. Look back, contact, turn again, push from the center, separate and roll back and sit down, spiral up and lunge forward. Twist step, T stance, hold your ball, left hand on the bottom, left foot ready to go, out and to the side, bottom hand advances, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Look back, contact, turn, push from the center, separate the energy, roll back, sit down, spiral up, lunge forward, twist step, T stance, L stance, ward off, turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, look back, contact, turn again, push, separate, roll back, sit down, spiral up, lunge forward, twist step, T stance, L stance, ward off, grasp the bird's tail. Ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Twist step, T stance, L stance, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Other side. Ward off. And we're going to take a pause right here. Okay. So I'm sure that good. So in the 10 form, for the movements that we do, even for warming up and not even doing the complete set, you find that your cells are always moving backwards. So good idea to adjust, okay? What I want to go over or teach you today is cloud hands, okay? So we're gonna come away from all that we just drilled on this morning, but knowing that we still have to work on it, okay? And over time, it'll get better. But the foundations have been laid so that you have something to work on, okay? So we all agree that Tai Chi doesn't just come as magic, but we do have to work on it. So in cloud hands, it's unlike a T stance, an L stance, and a bow stance, but it's a sideways motion. In a sideways motion, it's something similar to playing the piano, in that our fingers are like our toes. When one toe sits down, the other one rises up and takes its turn, alternating, okay? And in cloud hands, it's a sideways motion, and what we're trying to promote is not only balance, but we're trying to be a little lighter than we normally are because we are floating in the sky. We're billowy, we're rounded rather than angular and sharp, okay? So those are the things that cloud hands, the word cloud hands conjure up in your mind. So we as Tai Chi practitioners then have to kind of promote this. So I'm gonna just do it for you, and then you see the components. And then we'll talk about it. And to get out of it, we come into a golden cockerel, okay? To get out of cloud hands. So as you can see, the feet were going sideways, coming, closing, opening, and then we didn't end up way that way. We started to go this way. So then we closed the form, and the alternate foot led our movements to go to the opposite direction. So that's the feet, okay? And you notice that the feet weren't moving like this, but they were deliberately parallel. The feet are parallel, and you slowly went up to your toe, and you led with your toe rather than your heel. So it's a toe that goes down first, and when that foot is then fully grounded, the other one can take its turn, but always leading with the toe, just like the fingers of a piano player, okay? Now, the top portion takes a lot into consideration because you're using your hips and waist to move. So no matter where my hands would be, I would be moving this way because my hips and waist are engaged, okay? Even when I start the other way, yes, I'm going to have to somehow coordinate my hips to make my movements happen, okay? So one of the best ways to teach cloud hands is to know those two components, big components, but actually to have a big clock in front of you, a big kind of, I would say, an elongated clock rather than a circular clock, mainly because we're looking at the points of 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 3 o'clock, because something happens at those three numbers or numerical locations. So if you can see, something happens. And how am I getting out to the extremities of the numbers? My hips and waist are taking me. All I have to do is set up my hand, and as long as my hips and waist are moving, I can now get to the different numbers, right? So in other words, if my hips and waist were not moving, it only becomes a hand motion, which is not Tai Chi. But I'm engaging my hips and waist, okay? So there's several ways to look at the hands. The hands are doing similar things, but in an, I want to say an opposite way. One is on the top, one's on the bottom. They switch. So right now I can see one palm on the top and I can't see the palm on the bottom. But then when I switched at 3 o'clock, I can now see the palm of the other hand that I wasn't seeing before, right? So this is what we're going to tackle. It can be the most beautiful movement in the 10 form once you get it, okay? But it can be a challenge. So we're going to separate feet and hands for now, okay? Feet and hands. So we're going to take feet first, just the way we learned how to do parting of the wild horse's mane. So let's see. The transition step is part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Is that right? Pivot. Then we're here. Okay. So we're going to leave the transition to, we're going to leave the transition to later on, okay? We're just going to isolate cloud hands now, okay? So let's get into position, equally weighted feet, and we're going to put our hands here at the, actually we're not going to put our hands, okay? We said we would do feet, okay? So we're here, actually here, lift off to the toe of the left, on the toe, lift off the ground, toe, arch heel, heel comes up on the toe, close the feet, toe, arch heel, heel, toe, open, toe, arch heel. Heel comes up because we lead with the toe. Up with the heel because we lead with the toe. Up with the heel because we lead with the toe. Let's go the other way now. Up with your heel, lead with the toe. Up with the heel, close with the toe. Toe, toe, heel. Toe, close, up, open, down. Okay, so basically this is how we're going to move. It gets thrown off, of course, once we put our upper body together, right? But you'll get a sensation like you're falling off, and then when you feel like you're falling off, you're going to have to close your feet, okay? See if you can detect that, okay? So this is just an overview. There are lots of other things that we can teach you, but for now, let's put our left hand, palm facing us, higher. Right about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Not at 3 yet because we're not in motion, because we don't want to strain that far. But once we start moving, we'll get out to the 3. So 12 o'clock here, maybe 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, something there. Left hand higher, palms facing you. Right hand lower, palms away. Okay? So we're just going to stand here now, okay? And we're going to move our hips and waist. 12 o'clock, we have a stem and we have a cup. Can you do that? Stem and a cup. Stem from the left hand and a cup 2 inches below your navel as if you are in a cup position or you're holding a cup. Turn your hips and waist, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We have to do something because we're at the extreme of the clock. We flip the top hand so we no longer see the palm, and the right hand takes the top position. Turn your hips and waist, stem and a cup. Turn the hips and waist, 3 o'clock. What happens? 2 things happen. Flip the top hand, bring the bottom hand up. Move the hips and waist, 12 o'clock, stem, cup. Move the hips and waist, 9 o'clock, flip the hand, change the position of the hands, turn the hips and waist, 12 o'clock, stem cup, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, 12 o'clock, stem cup, 9 o'clock, flip the hands, okay? So any problem down? Not too much, right? Not too much. And then you can pick up the speed a little bit and see if it'll work for you. And don't forget, it's not a hand motion, so move those hips and waist that we warmed up nicely. Continue, okay? And at some point, I want you to still continue. I just want to see. Don't be afraid, it doesn't matter. All I want you to be sure to do is to make your motions rounded and led by your hips and your waist. Okay, looks really good, okay? So you're using your hips and waist. You're looking at your clock that has the 9 and the 3, and you're getting out to that point by using your hips and waist to direct your movements. Okay, good, good, very good. Okay, so this is essentially what you did for me. And we can test this by saying, if you want to ask yourself, are your hands really going for the ride? And are your hips and waist really doing the job? You could just put your hands here and do the hands move. They still go out to 9 o'clock. They still reach out to 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So that's good. So you know that you're using your hips and waist. So you don't want to get into a rut to say, oh, I got 9, oh, I got 12, oh, I got 9, oh, I got 3, and keep this guy still, because you will not, it's not good, okay? It's not what Tai Chi stands for, okay? So in this particular case, the hips and waist are going to help you with your movements, and it's going to be, we're striving for core-related activities, core-related. Because our core is essential in preventing falls and keeping ourselves strong. It's not the hands. The hands are not going to save you from a fall. It's being able to keep your head straight up and your vertical dantian point straight up. So we've got to strengthen our core, and what a better way to do it than in cloud hands, okay? Or all of Tai Chi. All right, we're going to try this. It's going to be fun. So another way of looking at it is Ken likes to come up and say, it's like reading the newspaper. You turn the page, your eyes read the top, you turn the page, okay? So on and so forth. He also says it's like egg beaters. Egg beaters go this way. One goes round, the other guy goes counterclockwise. It's just like our hands in a similar fashion, okay? But we don't get too bent on it, because we're not really egg beaters or newspaper readers, but you can use that as a way of thinking about how to get your movements going. All right. So we're going to put feet and hands together, okay? Because this is going to be fun, because we came to Tai Chi to enjoy something, okay? So my feet are like this, actually closed. Left hand on the top, right hand on the bottom. Shift weight to the right. Two things happen. Oh, I'm supposed to close. 3 o'clock. Two things happen. 9 o'clock. Two things happen. 3 o'clock. Two things happen. Two things happen is flipping and opening, or flipping and closing, okay, depending. Okay, so you can see that the extremities of the clock, two things can happen. But you can also see that if two things always happen, we'd only go one way, and we'd probably end up in the wall. So the choreographing of the 10 form warrants only a few steps of cloud hands. Then we have to go the other way. So instead of two things happening at 9 o'clock, only one thing happened, which was a flip. But we want to direct our movement now to the right. Two things happen at 9, flip and open. Two things happen at 3, flip and close. And all the time that we're doing this, make sure that your shoulders are down. Okay, so that's a way of relaxing. Okay, let's go the other way. So remember I said you'll get a sensation like you're falling off. But what do? Stabilize by closing the feet. You get a sensation like you're falling off, right? Now, what do? Open. Falling off, you close. And you open. Let's go the other way. Let's go the other way. Okay, I'm going to give you a little break now, okay? So how was it? How was it? Hard? Raise it if it's hard. Yeah, a little hard. Why? Because you couldn't coordinate the hands with the feet. Yeah. So there, and then was it fun though? Kinda. No stress, right? No stress. I think it can be complicated, not so much the feet part, but the hand part. Like, what do? So you might want to take one, although sometimes it's easier to put it to 2. You just keep on going doing this. And then you take the other one and you go the other way. So this is how you can picture it. So you have I want to say like an egg carton or something long like this, but you have rounded corners. So all you're doing is getting out to that rounded corner and you're doing this. Okay? So this is that elongated shape here, and there are no sharp corners, so your hand has to be rounded, especially at the ends. Okay? Then you're going to say, okay, how far do my hands go? You know that if I do it this way, I'm not in Tai Chi posture. You know that if I do it this way, I'm not in Tai Chi posture. So you keep your Tai Chi posture, and your hands are, I don't know, maybe a foot, 10 inches, I'm not sure. Something comfortable, huh? Yeah, not close. But what I want to caution you about is that a lot of people, they are so determined to do Tai Chi so well that when it comes to cloud hands, they raise their shoulders and they're stiff. Whereas you need to tell yourself and push yourself down and say, drop the shoulders and just work with the core. Just work with the core and the hips and waist. Then it comes out very, very relaxing. But once you start to feel that you're tensed because you want to achieve something, check your shoulder, okay, check your shoulder. Because in the beginning on anything, usually you're determined to do it right, and then you kind of tense up to achieve that point. But you have to tell yourself, no, Tai Chi, drop the shoulders, okay? So you'll see some of my very matured, experienced students still having that problem of dropping their shoulders, not necessarily only in cloud hands, but in others, because they got accustomed to it. And like Bill is doing, and what Ken was just doing, we did this, and we're dropping this and loosening this guy up. So this is the time to really put it to task, okay? We won't worry too much about how to get in and out of cloud hands, but it's pretty tricky, okay? I'll just show you what happens, okay? So cloud hands is done after we part the wild horse's mane the second time. We leave ourselves in a bow stance and we reposition our hands. Then the feet alignment says you have to sit back and you have to sit down. With the turn on like a twist step or pivot, I'm at a 12 o'clock. But I want to get out to 9 o'clock. How am I going to do it? Look at the feet. Sure, we have the power of the pivoting of our heel, of our left heel. Hey, something magical. The hand went with the body. Two things usually happen at 9. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock stem cup. Usually two things happen at 3. Flip the hands, open the feet. But because 10 form is very short, we can't continually do cloud hands. At 9 o'clock this time, we only flip our hands because we have to go in the other direction. The other direction is 3 o'clock direction. Flip the hands, close the feet. 9 o'clock, two things happen. Flip the hands, open the feet. And then the choreograph says, no, we can't do any more cloud hands, so we can only flip the hands. I'm at pretty much 50-50. I come to 12 o'clock. I shift my weight to the left foot. I spiral up, I push down, I pull up, I become a golden cockerel. And then I do the other side. That's how we get in and out of cloud hands, okay? It can be very beautiful. Okay, so now let's string all our, let's see what the sequence is. Commencing form, repulsing of the monkey, brush knee, parting the wild horse's mane, cloud hands, golden cockerel, kick out right and left, warding off, grasp the bird's tail, and then all we need now is closing form. Okay, I don't think I missed any, but we are in the vicinity of 10. So now what we're going to try to do, you don't know the ending part, which is closing form, apparently closing, embracing the tiger, and things of that, okay? But we do know 8 or 9 others that we can now string along. So I'm going to give you an overview. We're going to do it all, and then we'll see how different movements are placed within the formation of the 10 form set, okay? So take it for experience, take it for enjoyment, take it for your journey. Good Tai Chi posture, dropping the shoulders, 50-50. Commencing form, shift weight to the right to allow the left heel to come up, to be on our toe, open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 50-50. Hands rotate to the middle of the thighs, drop the water, take a deep breath in as we do. At shoulder level, reverse the process, push down the water, drop the shoulders, flex the knee. Make ourselves small. Left hand in the center, right hand rises up higher, open the palms to the ceiling. Bring the back hand, right hand to the ear as you glance. Turn your head and neck as the hands meet in the center. Push forward the right, pull back the left. Right hand in the center, left hand up higher, glancing at the higher hand, open to the ceiling, bring it to the ear, turn the head and neck, meet the hands in the center, repulse of the monkey. T stance, Parallel brush knee, okay? Here we go, 3 things happen. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, left hand higher, right hand to the shoulder at T, glancing at the back, all together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, center with a ball on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Out on an L, turn the hips and waist, go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, center with a ball on a T, out and to the side L, part the wild horse's mane. Cloud hands, flip the forward hand so you no longer see the palm. Join it with the back hand or left hand and show, so that you can look at the palm. We're at 9 o'clock, okay? We're at a bow stance. We're gonna sit back, sit down. We're gonna pivot. At 12 o'clock, we have a stem and a cup. Stem of the left hand, a cup of the right. We want to get out to the 9. We're gonna use our left heel to pivot out. What happens? We got out to the 9, but we're gonna fall off, so what are we gonna do? 2 things. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock stem cup, turn the hips and waist to 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, open the feet. Stem cup at 12, 9 o'clock, only 1 thing happens. Just flip the hands. 12 o'clock, stem cup. 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. We have to change the direction. Flip the hands, close the feet. 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, open the feet. We have to get out of cloud hands. So therefore, at 3 o'clock, we only flip the hands. At 12 o'clock, we shift our weight to the left. We bring up our right foot and our right hand, golden cockerel. Shift the weight, golden cockerel stands on its left. Oh, right, sorry. Down. We're going to gather our energy, shift to the left, right foot ready to go, right hand outside, kick out right. Shift weight to the right, left hand on the outside, left foot ready to go, to kick out left. Holding our ball on a T stance, we're going to grasp the bird's tail, but first ward off. T stance, L stance, bottom hand advances. Push the guy out using your forearm. Turn the hips and waist, reposition your hands, bring down the bird. Turn at the hips and waist, contact, turn again, push the energy through the middle of your body. Separate and roll back and sit down. Spiral up and lunge forward. Other side. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Ward off. Bottom hand pushes the opponent. Turn the hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail. Contact at the wrist. Turn and push the energy. Separate and roll back and sit down. And spiral forward. Okay, and we'll learn this maybe next week. Sit back, sit down. Twist. Right heel opens. Right heel closes. Right hand is tucked inside the cross as you center yourself. Shift your weight over by bringing your right foot to close. Rotate on your wrists so that your palms are facing you as you elevate. Bring the tiger closer to your chest. Push him out. Separate the hands. Drop the shoulder. Flex the knees. Let gravity take you home as you now close your form. that good? Yeah, it is good. Okay, 5 minutes. It seems like, and this is, I think, our 9th week. And hey, we have closing form to do, and then we just string it all along, and we have something, at least we have something, okay? So this is how it will appear maybe while you're gradually So another way of looking at Tai Chi is that you're in a bubble, and everything around you here is your energy, and all the energy is being dispersed but coming back and recycling. So let's kind of think about that a little bit, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more, and maybe even before we really get down into talking about it, you will kind of feel or understand what that means. So Tai Chi could be like you're in a bubble, and that bubble is all your energy. I'll leave you with that thought. Okay, see you next time. Good job.